Hello, everyone. Welcome to Moon Mage. This is weekly tarot messages. It's pick a message 1 through 4. I always tell everybody to use their intuition to feel into which message is speaking to them. And then we look at the energies, potential challenges, along with some guidance and advice so that you can hopefully navigate your week in the best possible way. I always tell everyone that regardless of the dates that these messages come with, when you land on them was when you were meant to hear them. So don't get too concerned about the dates. I will add a little caveat to this week's messages. Because we have a full moon happening on June 11th, the Wednesday, that energy is very much going to come into play. So I would recommend looking at the moon messages along with these weekly messages to see if there's any connection or correlation for you, if there's some synchronicity there, because it's definitely going to be coming into play with the energies that show up this week. So something to keep in mind. So now would be a good time for you guys to give yourself a second to look at those messages, feel into them, and see which one is speaking to you. And I will get started here with message number 1. Hello, message 1. What do my beautiful message 1s need to know going into this week? What kind of energy is showing up for message 1? All right, I don't really need to be shuffling anymore. 9 of Cups energy, nice. So coming into some sort of emotional balance culmination where you're starting to feel really good about things. Everything's coming together. And this could be true, especially if it was, or rather it's been more difficult for you lately, emotionally, maybe feeling out of balance and all over the place. The 9 of Cups energy is either asking you to embody this and trust that you're coming into this energy, or it's letting you know that you have arrived, you're already there, to trust it in some kind of way. Yeah, emotional balance coming in, fulfillment, emotional fulfillment. I don't know why, but I get this feeling that maybe some of you have had the opposite of that, where things have been sort of all over the place and maybe your emotions haven't been in check and it feels like everything's kind of gone sideways. This is general, so that's not going to resonate with all of you, but I do feel like for some of you that might be a thing. And I feel like this is your heads up from spirit that either, you're gonna have that energetic and spiritual support coming in to help you get into this 9 of Cups energy, or you have arrived and you can trust it. Wisdom. See your adversaries as opportunities to expand your spiritual light. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So maybe that is the emotional dissonance. You've been dealing with people who maybe aren't believing in you or who are giving you a hard time around something, and it's causing you to feel emotionally down or just out of sorts, which would make total sense. But this makes me feel like, again, as this says, using your wisdom, using your energy for the greater good, and kind of seeing your adversaries as a catalyst or a reason to prove them wrong in a positive way, is going to be something that you should lean into, is something that is a good energy to utilize. Yeah, your adversaries are just opportunities to expand your spiritual light. And, I know that it's not the spiritual thing to say to prove them wrong, but sometimes leaning into that energy can be very motivating for us. I'm going to show them that everything that I've wanted for myself and everything I'm doing is going to be worth it. And that I was meant to trust myself and follow my intuition, regardless what other people think. It's not about sticking it to anybody you're saying, I told you so. It's more about utilizing it, again, for the greater good. Hopefully you get what I'm saying. Sometimes we all need to lean into that energy in our lives where we're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to let these people around me that keep telling me I can't do something or that I'm crazy, I'm going to utilize that to motivate me to prove them wrong. Ooh, okay, that's a lot of cards that fell. I'm just going to have to pause and pick those up. All right. Awareness. There's that wisdom energy coming through. Because it's a number 1 card too, which is a new beginning of some sort. I feel like you're going to have some spiritual wisdom come through for you that you should absolutely listen to, trust, and follow. Especially if you're feeling like you haven't connected to some sort of awareness that you might need to expand your spiritual light and lean into the opportunities around you. because I feel like that's coming in for you guys too, especially with that Nine of Cups being the overarching energy, emotional fulfillment, sitting pretty in some kind of way. Like, I got this and I knew it and I'm following it and it's paying off in dividends. It feels like that. Maybe making some space for some meditation to connect to higher mind and wisdom, I think would be a good idea. But I also think you are just the wise one here. Material and spiritual prosperity. Nice. Now, it is coming in the side of challenge, suggesting this is something that may have been eluding you. And this could be one reason why you've had difficulty, especially with others, saying, you know, you're not going to be able to do this. This isn't going to pay off. You're wasting your time. It could be energy like that you're dealing with. But my feeling is that even if you're here right now, you've got this emotional fulfillment and awareness coming in, wisdom to get into this energy. So finding a way to ground yourself, be open to this awareness, trust in what you're doing, expand your light rather than shrink it because of other people around you who have likely been causing you to feel a little bit less than, is going to be your way into this energy of prosperity, abundance. I feel like there's just a simple energy here of your hard work will pay off. Shut the noise out around you of all the naysayers because your ships are going to come in. Yeah. Heartache and loss. So this isn't the guidance position for you guys, suggesting that there is something emotional that you do need to deal with, right? In order to get into this Nine of Cups energy where you're sitting pretty and feeling emotionally balanced. What do you need to look at? Where is the heartache? Where is the hurt? I suspect it has to do with others' words, deeds, etc. that has caused this. Now, it's general. That might not be true for all of you. So just apply it in a way to your situation that makes sense for you. But you're being called to really look at this energy and clear out your heart space, deal with the emotions so that you can come back into balance and get back into this wisdom and this forward momentum in your life so that you can get into this spiritual and material prosperity energy. What do you need to deal with? What is causing you emotional dissonance? Where do you need healing in order to get into this energy? I feel like there's going to be answers for that here with this wisdom coming through. Becoming aware of how you can navigate it. Throat chakra coming out in the outcome position is suggesting that you're going to become more expressive, especially if you give yourself over to healing out this heartache and loss that you've had to deal with. Frustration, I feel too. Being more expressive, opening your throat chakra, speaking your truth. And you know, with that full moon in Sagittarius in play this week, there's so much necessity around that. Speaking the truth, regardless of how it lands on people, doing it in a diplomatic, assertive way rather than aggressive way. I think there's something that you need to say, something that needs to be said, expressed, a truth, in order for you to come back into emotional balance and fulfillment again and get working on yourself, your passions, your purpose, essentially. I think a lot of you might be quite spiritual in nature, givers perhaps, especially because we're saying expand your spiritual light. So you have a lot to offer. I think you are quite a wise, intellectual, smart person who has everything that you need, even if you're going through it right now and it feels like nothing's working out quite the way that you had hoped. I feel like that could all be turned around, and the energy this week is saying this week is going to support you in that, but you do have to heal a few things out. You have to look at those harder aspects, let them go, and express something in order to get to this awareness and this emotional fulfillment again. All right. I keep hearing don't underestimate yourself. So that might be a message that some of you need to hear. Like, I think you might be underestimating yourself, which would make sense if we're dealing with heaviness and we have adversaries around us and we're not feeling like supported. Oh, yeah, look at that. You're ready for more. Your career is growing and blossoming. Now is the time to make the changes you have been contemplating. Yeah, you are ready for more, and you shouldn't have to feel the need to explain the why of it to anybody. You have your reasons. You know what's best for you. My ears ringing right now, like really, really loud. So I don't know if I've touched on something. If it feels right, it is right for you. Trust your gut, trust your instincts, trust this wisdom and awareness that's coming for you, because leaning into this and believing this and knowing it's true for you, expressing that without worry about how other people are going to think or feel about it, is, I think, the energy that you're being asked to embody this week, because it's going to lead to what's been challenging, material and spiritual prosperity. Absolutely. And I want to say that you're stronger than you give yourself credit for. You're more capable than you've been giving yourself credit for. I just feel like the noise of others and the opinions of others have seeped into your energy field in some way. And that's probably acting like a bit of a block to your awareness, to your spiritual connection. But by doing this emotional healing work at the start of this week, especially, maybe even on the day of the full moon, because I feel like you might be quite receptive that day, would be a really good idea for you to move it out so that you can move on and move forward. It does. It feels like you've got a lot of good things on the other side of that with that Nine of Cups energy, like a lot of emotional fulfillment and balance coming back in. All right, guys, I'm going to leave that there. I hope all of you have the most amazing, beautiful week. Take care, guys. Hello, message 2. Oop, wow, that popped out right away. I'm going to slide it over so you can see. I'm not doing anything fishy. Right away, you have a card that flew out. So I was going to say, what do my beautiful message 2s need to know? But the universe decided already. Okay. Judgment, the Judgment card. This is suggesting that at some point, particularly the beginning of the week, maybe even around the time of the full moon in the middle of the week, there's going to be a need for your honest assessment, truth, and judgment around something. So this is going to be really leaned into that Sagittarian energy that's showing up this week about broadening your perspective, widening your vision, looking at things from different angles so that you can make a really good judgment about where you're going to go next, what's coming for you next, how to navigate a particular thing. So just know that this is the energy that's being highlighted for you this week, using sound judgment, widening your perspective. And I always feel like the Judgment card comes with no hasty decisions. This doesn't mean overthinking, overanalyzing, because that could be problematic. It's just about really sitting with yourself, getting raw and honest before you just make any decisions. All right. I almost wonder for some of you if this is connected to like decisions for more than just yourself, like in a broader way, family maybe, or for others in a work environment. Because I'm noticing all the people down there on the Judgment card, like maybe having to make good sound choices and judgments for more than just yourself, like the greater good maybe. Okay, now another card flew out on the floor. One sec, guys. Cards flying out everywhere for you guys. It says celebration. Celebrate your achievements. You truly are a gift to the universe. Funny, because like when you look at this Judgment card, it looks like everybody's happy and they're in joy. I almost wonder, have you guys already made good sound judgment? And you're just being told, by spirit and the universe, don't worry if you're having second thoughts or you're second guessing something. You made a good choice and now you're moving forward, and you should be celebrating it because it's a good thing. It's going to lead to this achievement energy. This is general, so you'll know which side of the fence you're on depending on what's going on in your life. Yeah, you celebrate your achievements. You truly are a gift to the universe. Yeah, I feel like a lot of you maybe already have used good sound judgment around something. Even if you're second guessing it, I feel like trust the decisions that you've made. But for others, it's about giving yourself a bit of time before making a decision. Because once you do, and if you trust in your gut and you go with the decision that doesn't just feel best, because that does feel best, right? Where you've brought that logic and that emotion together, because that's the Sagittarius Gemini energy showing up this week. I feel like you can't go wrong with it. It'll be a really good decision to bounce. Wow. Another card flew out. Message 2. It feels like the universe is very much like we already have the messages set up for whoever chose this message. Oh my goodness. I'm going to take that one because it wanted to fly out too. Crazy. All right. So this was the first one. Suffering in silence. Okay. Did this come up in one of the messages? Yes, or I think it might have. Anyways, doesn't matter. Suffering in silence. Number 9 card, that's the card of ending. I'm wondering if some of you are in some worry, fear, and anxiety right now, especially if you have made a choice or you're fearful about making the wrong choice. You've got celebratory energy, and I really feel like it's about trusting your gut right now. Then you can bring your head with you, bring the logic down. But start with trusting your gut. And if you are feeling anxious and worried around something, especially around having to make a good choice, assessing a situation, if you don't feel like you have support or anybody that you can talk to about this, even writing it out and getting it out of your system, I think would be cathartic and therapeutic for you. It's a way of releasing it. But if there is people that you can share your worries and fears with, who you trust, I think it would be a good idea for you to let them in on how you're feeling. Yeah, because holding on to this kind of energy can act as a major block. Yeah, moving on. Isn't that funny? You've got the 9 and the 6. So the 9 and the 6, like the reversal of that number. 6 is all about coming into balance and harmony again. So what needs to be moved on from? I feel like this might be a heads up for some of you that haven't made a decision, have been having a difficult time deciding for fear of that. And with the moving on energy coming in the challenge position, there's a bit of like a confirmation that you should be moving on from a particular thing, idea, notion. And if you're in your gut, you've known that, but you've been afraid to do it because it means a lot of new things, a lot of challenges on the horizon as a result. I just feel like this is the spirit and the universe's way of saying, no, moving on has been something that you've been struggling with. It is challenging, but it's the right move. So take that as you will message too. But I do feel like for some of you, you've struggled to let go. You've been suffering in silence with these feelings and thoughts, worries, fears, and anxieties. But it is time to move on from something because he's moving out of that dark into light, into something better. And it's going to be cause for reason to celebrate. As it says, you truly are a gift to the universe. I almost wonder, it almost feels like this hero energy. I know that sounds really weird, but like saving the day around something, that would be a lot of pressure. I wonder if some of you felt like you've had to be the one to try to go in and really fix something and save the day. Odd. Okay. Sacrifice. Okay. So this is coming out in the kind of advice position, right? So where are you making unnecessary sacrifices and where might you need to make sacrifices in order to get into the energy of celebration, joy, fulfillment, feeling like you've made the right moves, you've been able to let go, you've released the worries, fears, and anxieties, but there's still some sacrifices to be made at the end of the day in order to culminate into this celebratory energy. So it's kind of either or with this card. Where do you feel like you're making too many sacrifices? Where your attention and your gifts and your talents are needed right now? And where might you need to make some sacrifices in order to step up more bravely, more greatly to move on? It definitely feels like there's polarity there with this energy. Oh my gosh. Guys, message 2. Look at this. Rejoice in celebration. Celebration. Okay. If nothing else, if you take nothing else away from this message, you have nothing to fear. Where you might be stuck or fearful around choices that you've either made that you haven't seen the results of yet, or choices that you're about to make. Fear not. Moving on, moving away from something, sacrifices that you've made or might have to make are all going to be worth it. Do not allow yourself to stay in the suffering energy. Find a way to release it and let it out, because in your outcome position, you have rejoice and celebration. You have celebration up here. And I really feel like it's connected and attached to trusting yourself and your gut. Not allowing yourself to overthink too much. I always tell everybody to, lead with your heart, but bring your head with you. I feel like you're quite capable of doing that and coming into that kind of balance. But yeah, you have a lot of celebratory energy on the cards for you, literally on the cards for you. And I just think you need to trust yourself and find a way to release the fears and the worries, the monkey mind energy that just is causing you to maybe feel just scattered. It's like you've got this energy. Yeah. Okay. Pull another card. One final card here to cap this off. I keep I should have said that, and I'm always giving myself a hard time when I hear certain things. I should just say them, but fear not, fear not, fear not. I hear that a lot in my head. Fear not. All is well. All will be well. It's all working out. Nice. Okay. It says the way forward is open. You're not trapped. Possibilities and opportunities abound. I will guide you to personal and spiritual freedom. Very connected to that moving on card. So there is definitely some sort of confirmation here for you guys that you are meant to move on from something. And on the map, it says joy, right? And this sounds to me like this might be another area where you're suffering and sounds to be a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear to move towards something new, to start over again in some kind of way, especially where there might be other people around you depending on you in some kind of way, where they're trusting your judgment. That can evoke a lot of fear and pressure, but you've got this. You've got reasons to celebrate. You're doing the right things. You're capable. As this says, you're a gift to the universe. You're meant to lead the situation and move forward, but you must let something go and release that negative energy in the mind. Again, you're not trapped. Possibilities and opportunities abound. I will guide you to personal and spiritual freedom. It's that energy of trust too, finding ways to lean into it. Try to catch yourself when you notice that you're in negative, fearful thinking, and just flip the script. Fake it till you make it. Okay, message 2. I think I'm going to leave that there. I hope that all of you have the most amazing, beautiful week. Take care, guys. Hello, message 3. What do my beautiful message 3s need to know going into this week? What energy is showing up for message 3? Ooh, okay, the death card, but it's in reverse. So when we see the death card in reverse, it might be suggesting that some of you are having a hard time letting go, moving on in some kind of way, allowing an ending to happen so that a new beginning can be brought forth. So this might be highlighting the need for those of you who chose message 3 to really assess what goes and what stays. What am I clinging to that I shouldn't be anymore? And where do I need to move in order to have a new beginning, a rebirth of sorts? So keep that in mind. That adage keeps coming through my mind. We struggle to hold on. We struggle to let go. I feel like more of us humans struggle to let go, right? Because the fear of what's waiting for us when we move towards something different, that might be a thing coming into play here for some of my message 3 choosers. Okay. Reflection. See all aspects of yourself through the reflection of the one who mirrors your hidden self. Ooh, okay. So this is kind of showing you how to move through this energy that needs to be understood so that you can make sound decisions around that. That's very connected to the Sagittarius woman that's happening. It's all about facing our shadows and coming into truth, no matter how hard. So there may be somebody in your life who reflects back to you parts of you that you don't love, and you might even find yourself getting defensive around that. I think maybe there's a bit of a heads up to look at that energy. Why is it triggering for you? How is it triggering you? Where's that coming from? Getting really deep with this so that you can come to some sort of truth. Again, see all aspects of yourself through the reflection of the one who mirrors your hidden self. So yes, taking some time out to reflect, because I feel like the main message here for you guys, because of that death card in reverse, is something needs to be released or let go. It may be a part of you that holds on to negative energy and fears your shadow self. And there's somebody around you that's reflecting it back to you, maybe even pushing your buttons in some kind of way or making you feel a particular kind of way. But there's something that needs to be let go here. And I will say, because we're in this energy this week of the full moon in Sagittarius on the axis of Gemini with that logic and reason, you are very likely to connect in a profound way if you give yourself over to this reflection about what this is, seeing the truth of things, coming into some sort of understanding so that you can make decisions, easier decisions for yourself about what to do. Feeling like don't over shuffle. Nice. Okay. Rejoice in celebration. So spirit wanting you to really celebrate something, some sort of emotional thing, like maybe this connection, giving you a heads up that on the other side of this harder energy where it's been difficult to let go, or where you're bumping up against shadowy energy that's triggering for you, is being in celebratory energy, rejoicing, seeing the truth, being able to feel a lot more clear and move on. It feels like that with this energy showing up. Rejoice in celebration. I'm really attracted to the number 3 too. Threes are connected to ascended masters, but also creativity, the energy of creativity. I'm wondering if there's something to that for you. I would just say be mindful of number 3, because I feel like there might be messaging coming through for you guys. And you are the 3rd message too. That's funny. Trapped in fear. Yeah. Coming in the side of challenge for you guys, right? Fear's holding you back. And I always say that with this jail cell, there's so much light coming in here, but when we're trapped in fear, we can't see it, right? It's because this person that's trapped needs to look into the shadows. Who is triggering you? How are you being triggered? Why is it triggering you? These are energies that none of us really like to have to look at because they're hard. It means looking at ourselves through a different lens as well. But it feels like for you, it's so necessary in order to get into this celebratory, joyful energies of just moving on, releasing baggage from our souls and ourself to have a new beginning. Yeah. What are you fearing letting go of? What's holding you back? I feel like these are big existential questions that my message 3s need to reflect on. Sacrifice. Wow, there's so much overlap with all these messages. Sacrifice. You know what's funny though? What's different here for me than in the last message where this came up in the same position? I feel like, have you felt like a sacrificial lamb? Have you felt like you've been making a lot of sacrifices? Feeling like I'm always the one that has to give in. I'm always the one that has to, make concessions in order to help others, be there for others, where I've not made myself a priority. For some reason, I'm getting this energy of resentment because you've had to be a sacrificial lamb. I don't know why that is. And this is general, so that's not going to be true for all of you. But look at that energy, message 3. And it's a 12 too, which reduces in numerology to a number 3. I really feel like 3s are going to be important for you guys. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Oh my gosh, there's so much overlap from, I think it was just this last message. Some of you might want to look at message 2 because there might be something in it for you guys as well, because there's a lot of similar cards like these 3. Moving on, right? This is the challenge, but I love that it's coming in the outcome position. If we can face those fears and those shadows, message 3, really reflect, understand our triggers, what's keeping us stuck, why we're actually angry. I do feel like for some of you, you feel like you've had to make a lot more sacrifices, maybe than a partner has, or you've been the one to give up on a lot of things, therefore stalling your personal evolution or keeping your dreams on the shelf for too long, whatever it is. I feel like the tide wants to turn. The universe and spirit is saying it's time to make you a priority. It's time to move on from energies that have been keeping you stuck. That proverbial death, that will be good for you so that you can have this new beginning. But we need to look at the cause of all this, the fear around it. Because remember, you've got this overarching celebratory energy in doing this work, releasing this, understanding this. It never feels sexy or fun to have to do shadow work. But for you guys, it feels like profound, like where it would lead you and how it will move you out of that darker energy that's really keeping you stuck. I feel like an energy of resentment from some of you. Like I really resent the fact that I've always had to be the sacrificial lamb and put everything I want and desire on the back burner. Maybe even looking at an old story or narrative from your childhood where it made you feel like it had to be like people-pleasing tendencies. And I don't say that to offend or anything, but I'm feeling that. I'm feeling like maybe you guys felt like you had to people please and you always had to make sacrifices and keep everything steady and going. And then you've carried that energy forward. Maybe some of you are around people or with a partner who doesn't feel like they have to do that. They just follow what they want and they do it. And there's some resentment with that. I'm getting deep here and philosophical. Maybe I'm feeling that Sagittarius energy. Obviously, that's not going to be true for all of you, but I'm just saying it because I'm feeling it. It's coming to my mind. Either way, the main message here for you guys is there is a proverbial, metaphorical type of death that needs to happen here. But you've been stuck in fear, and there are triggers in your shadowy energy that I feel like maybe you've not been looking at or reflecting on to understand yourself better in order to move on and get into this more celebratory energy where you're moving into a new beginning that feels good, where you're making yourself a priority. Ooh, that's the big ask for you guys this week, to make this a priority. Oh, look at that. Don't give up on love. A relationship you cherish can be healed. Allow me to clear the way for forgiveness so that love can thrive again. Are you fearful of trusting? Are you afraid of speaking your truth in some kind of way that causes them to leave or you? I'm definitely feeling even more now that this is connected to a relationship of some sort where there is this energy of resentment, where it's been hard to let go of the struggles or to face the shadowy parts of yourself that are mirrored back to you by your partner and look at them and see how maybe you are contributing or why you feel so triggered by them. But at the end of the day, the overall message here too, if this is a connection for you guys, it can be healed with love and good communication and moving on from the struggles and understanding other people's perspectives and how it's just different than yours. They've just maybe been brought up in a different way. And so they show up differently in these sort of situations. A relationship you cherish can be healed. Allow me to clear the way for forgiveness so that love can thrive again. Yeah. I also think for some of you, just on a very basic, mundane level, it's self-love too, right? Where you're no longer feeling like I have to sacrifice everything for the greater good, where now you're coming back into wholeness, reason to celebrate, feeling whole again, connected again. But yeah, I would say for more of you guys, I feel like this proverbial death, this release and letting go is around troubles and turbulence in connection and relationship, where there's a lot of triggers here and resentment. But on the other side of it, doing this healing work and looking at yourself, because we only have control over ourselves. We can't really control our partners or other people, but looking at what those triggers are, those shadowy aspects of yourself are, will really help in healing out and moving the situation forward. I almost feel like with that trapped in fear, some of you are afraid to open up your hearts again because you don't want it. You don't want to get burned. All right. I think I'm going to leave that there. I just looked at the timer. I let this message go way too long. I apologize. I've rambled. Message 3. I hope all of you have the most amazing and beautiful week and really make reflective energy, contemplation, meditation a priority this week, because I think it's going to bring about profound understanding and healing. Take care, guys. Hello, message 4. What did my beautiful message 4s need to know this week? What kind of energies are showing up for my message 4 choosers? Ooh, okay. 9, is this 9 of Swords? 8 of Swords. Oh my gosh. Yeah, 8 of Swords, all tied up. Okay, so 8 of Swords energy. So if this is being highlighted for you guys this week, Spirit is highlighting, the universe is highlighting your need to get out of being mentally stuck, loud brain, overanalyzing, fearful thinking, worry, concern. And in this card, she's blindfolded and tied up, but she can absolutely move forward. So it's sort of like a self-imposed mental prison that you've put yourself in. It's not really what's happening around you so much as your thoughts about it, because she can just walk through. She doesn't realize that, right? She feels stuck and tied up, but she can. And I'm really attracted to the water here. So there's definitely some emotional aspects to this mental energy that you're having a hard time leaning out of, overcoming. Yeah. I feel like it might be connected to something that has an emotional component to it. But yes, this energy of being stuck in a mental prison, needing to look at that, needing to find your way through that. Oh, grab the wrong deck. All right. Okay. So this card flipped over and it felt like I should take it. So I'm going to take it. Oops. No limitations. You are a celestial being with unlimited potential. There is much for you to share. Okay. So it makes sense, right? With that 8 of Swords there, feeling limited, feeling stuck, feeling restricted. Again, I feel like this is more self-imposed than actually the truth of the situation. Possibilities abound around you. You are more than capable. You have unlimited potential, even if you're not seeing it, believing it, trusting it. Finding your way into this energy and trust, affirming that you're not limited, it's going to be a good idea for you. It's a small thing. These are small actions you can take to help release yourself from this fear, this mental prison that you put yourself in. Yeah. And it says you are a celestial being with unlimited potential. There's much for you to share. So for some of you too, this could just be outright fear of being seen in some way, of stepping up, of believing that you are capable of helping others in some way, leading others in some kind of way, that you have enough wisdom to do this. There's such an energy of enoughness here for you guys. Like you are good enough. You are capable. It's just the limitations that you self-impose in your mind that tell you that you can't, or that you're not ready, or that you're not good enough to do a thing. I get definitely like leadership ability. Turtling up a little bit too, like hiding in the shadows a little bit. Firm foundation. Number 4, I'm noticing the number 4, so that could be significant for some of you. Victory and success. Now it is coming out in the challenge position. Wow. Fulfillment of wishes. A lot of 9s have been showing up in the readings, and 6s. Ooh, temptation. Okay. All right. Message 4. I feel like this message is talking about, well, obviously we've already touched on this mental prison that you put in, the fears, lack of mentality around yourself, self-esteem issues, not good enough. So holding back, not showing up, not sharing yourself or your gifts or your talents in some kind of way with the world, or speaking your truth around something. I feel like the way through this mental energy is first embodying the energy of no limitations, faking it till you make it, but setting a solid foundation, firming up a foundation around something that you're trying to do, create, embody, become, right? Because there's much for you to share. I feel like an entrepreneurial spirit for some of you. Leaning into this energy, cultivating it, working on it, will help you feel more balanced, feel like you're making good moves. I do see though that with victory and success in the challenge position, it makes me feel like, have some of you been here before where your tries were outside the lines, it didn't pan out, things kind of went sideways for you, and now you have this fear of failure that's going to happen again. So you kind of procrastinate, drag your feet, go back into that negative cycle and pattern of thinking. Therefore, nothing's happening, nothing's doing, nothing's moving. That could have just been divine timing, and likely was. I feel that really strongly here with your message, that you're into good timing right now. It is time to really solidify any work that you've been doing, firming up that foundation, knowing that for some of you, I think you've already laid it, and that victory and success is just on the outside of your action, right? Needing to take action, needing to move forward, needing to face those fears and do it anyway, being asked to step up in this way, because you've got fulfillment of wishes here in the outcome position. So if you did go through a cycle where things that you tried just didn't work out and you felt like a failure in some way, not this time, that it was likely just that those things were meant to fortify you, to teach you lessons about maybe what not to do next time so that you could learn and grow. I don't know why I feel like that's so strong, but you have fulfillment of wishes literally on the cards for you in the advice position from spirit. The way to fulfill your wishes is to step up and step out, is to release yourself from this mental prison that you've been in. Make sure that the foundation of everything that you've been working on and doing is really solid, and you will be able to turn this energy into real, true victory and success. But there is a big heads up here with temptation. It's essentially like the devil card. I always think of this card as wanting to hit the panic button, bail out, give up, for fear that I will never have victories and success. My wishes will never be fulfilled. I can't really do this. Be very mindful of that. Notice when temptation shows up for you, especially this week. If you get tempted to maybe move away from something that you know you should be doing or working on for maybe a quick fix or to satisfy an itch that you have, be mindful of that. Be mindful of that. I just think temptation is going to be all around you this week to potentially bail on the work that you've been doing, to call it quits or give up on something that you absolutely shouldn't give up on, because it will be fulfilling for you. Your wishes will come true. It'll bring abundance. We've got that treasure chest there. Just be really mindful of that. Where are you being tempted? Who's tempting you, essentially, too, for some of you, I think. Yeah, I always think of that as like, I'm ready to bail out, give up, hit the panic button, say, forget it. Just be really mindful of that. Excuse me. You know, guys, I'm just going to say it, and don't shoot the messenger, but I think for some of you too, escapism is showing up for me, for some of you this week. And sometimes that can look like, you know, overindulging in whether it's alcohol, drugs, food, you know, just general laziness of some sort. I don't mean it like that you're lazy, but maybe wanting to just really shut down in some kind of way and escape. Again, just be mindful of that too. I really feel like this is not the week to do that. Yeah, look at this. Embrace your life purpose. Lots of procrastinating energy here. I feel here too. Jeez. Embrace your life purpose. I am guiding you towards your divine life purpose. Whatever makes your heart joyful is what you're meant to be doing. Yeah. Overthinking, right? Really overthinking. Should I go this way? Should I go that way? Is it this? Is it that? Do I have enough information and wisdom to really help people with this? Probably not. I can't do it. That imposter syndrome coming in, causing delays, and just to be living up in your mind and worry and fear, right? Imprisoned there rather than doing anything or making any forward momentum. Being tempted to lean into escapism, doing things that just feel good in the moment, but aren't good for you long term. It's really time to make your life purpose a priority. This actually says here, there's much for you to share. I think some of you have some spiritual gifts and talents, or you have some sort of energy that other people would really benefit from. Maybe through wisdom, words, deeds, hands-on things, healing type energy, whatever it is, you are meant to be stepping up into it more and more and creating a foundation around it. I definitely think some of you, you know, you're going to get a big wake-up call to start activating your soul's purpose. And there is fear around that. But being very mindful to not give into the temptation to stay small, to stay the same, because nothing will change. You need to notice when you're in that mental prison, when you're in a loop of negative thinking and thoughts about yourself and what you can do and what you can bring to the table. You really do have this message for you. You just have to trust and believe that you do. All right. I think I'm going to leave that there. I also want to say I'm really attracted to the cat. I don't know why. Maybe cats are going to act as a messenger for some of you. I don't know what that is, but something with cats. Pay attention to cats for you. Cats might be speaking to you in some kind of way, or like almost like through spirit. They're going to use cat somehow. I don't know what that is, but I'm feeling it. So I've said it. All right. I'm going to leave that there. I hope all of you guys have the most amazing and beautiful week, and really give yourself over to clearing and healing out that mental energy and be mindful of that temptation. Take care, guys.